Self-confidence is based on condition. And I already hear you screaming, no, it comes from within, it comes from within. Why do I believe that confidence, real self-confidence, doesn't come from within? First of all, let's look at confidence as a whole, what it means. When we talk about confidence, what it actually means is security and safety. And our soul is not here for constant security and safety. Picture, for example, before we talk about the self, when you learn something new, let's say driving a car, I always give that example, and you wouldn't have all the insecure feelings at first. Like this, oh my God, you hold for the first time the wheel in a car and you're super excited and you're like, make your first circles with the car on the, parking slot or whatever. And you're like super excited about, driving a car for the first time, but also super scared because excitement and fear is actually sort of the same feeling, but this is actually a topic for another video. But you have all these feelings, but you're super nervous too. You are super it's something new, it's something completely new, and there are all these feelings. And in love, when we have a crush, it's usually the butterfly feelings. Your soul actually loves all feelings because through insecurities, you learn, you grow, and you develop. And I'm not the one who says, oh, that's why your soul is here. No. Your soul is here for emotions and feelings and having fun with it, having fun with life. And your soul also has fun with your struggles, by the way. But it's another video and another topic. But your soul loves feelings and emotions. And your life would be freaking boring if you would feel secure all the time. Not just with learning something differently in your life, like driving a car for the first time, driving a bicycle for the first time, talking with your crush for the first time, whatever it is, but also with yourself. Because the thing about confidence is we can learn it in different areas, because we can always learn and develop and improve in certain areas in our life. And therefore, these insecure feelings at first are super important, because that's the reason you've probably already noticed in your life that you've manifested, created, whatever you want to call it, the opposites in your life. When I was 13, for example, I was super shy, and now I'm the complete opposite. I love talking. And I'm not insecure when it comes to talking anymore or meeting new people. But again, your soul loves the opposites because your soul loves duality. And your soul loves when things are first super chaotic and difficult and challenging, and then you slowly unfold all of that. This is beauty, this is life, this is living life. And we always want to feel secure, that's our ego, right? Security. And that's the reason why so many people teach confidence as this like talking a certain way, presenting yourself a certain way. And the thing is, when you feel great right now, you can obviously do that, and you will. Usually when we feel good, of course we have a different body posture if we feel great, because so many people are teaching confidence as this, oh, you have to have a certain body posture, or posture. English is not my native language, I hope I said it correctly, or talk a certain way. And it's very superficial. And then something in the external is happening, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh, wait a second, I cannot be myself right now, because right now you would be vulnerable. Best example, when you have physical pain. When you have physical pain, you're super vulnerable, automatically. I remember that when I had my disease. Again, living life means living all different types of emotions. But when we feel good, in the moment, right now, right here, of course we can, hold our body in a certain way, we can smile bigger, we can talk louder, we have all these good emotions because we feel good. When you have a safe job that you love for years, when you have an amazing relationship where you feel seen for years, if you don't have your period as a woman and you feel great in your body right now, things like that, of course you feel confident right now. And this is, by the way, most of the times the time where people make videos like that and try to teach you what confidence is and how to get there. But you will see, even for them, when something in the outside and the external, like their job that they had for years, or the money, is changing and shifting, or I don't wish it for them, of course, but if that would happen, and I will tell you, life will make sure your life is not always stable. Your soul doesn't want to have a stable life. Your soul is here for all feelings. We finally have to internalize that. We finally have to stop dividing feelings into right and wrong. You will see then the confidence that they thought they were building up is breaking apart. And that's okay. And our soul actually loves changes. And you know why most people don't dive into change? Because they're scared. Because then you have to allow vulnerability in your life. Because then you have to feel okay with being insecure for a while, because you go through massive change. And that's where you are the most vulnerable. That's where you're the most insecure. That's where your nervous system has to get regulated. That's where all the new things are coming in, and most people want to avoid that. Or they want to have change without that phase. This is where we want to force change, because we expect that this change will make us happy. And so whether they want to force or avoid change, your soul wants to go through these massive changes and wants to experience all feelings. And we have to stop dividing that into right and wrong, especially feelings, because again, your soul wants to feel insecure once in a while. You will feel so free the moment you realize that. Most people want to have this facade of confidence that most people teach online, that I personally am not a fan of, And so I want to talk about a tarot card to represent it a bit better, because tarot goes so much deeper than just predicting the future. It's actually talking about life in so many ways. It's like tarot goes so deep. I always say that again and again. And the best card describing what I personally mean is the Wheel of Fortune card. Most people want to be on top here. This is the basically top of the wheel. But when you think about a wheel, there is no edge. There is no top and bottom. It's a wheel. You don't even see where it's up and where it's down, actually. And that's the reason of why the Wheel of Fortune card is represented as a wheel, because your soul loves all of it. Your soul is not dividing. Your ego does, and your ego is here for a reason. Your ego is important, by the way. Your ego is so important. Without your ego, you wouldn't be capable of experiencing life. I know a lot of spiritual people want to kill the ego and say, oh, you have to be enlightened. But I tell you, your ego is also your body and your brain. So you need your freaking ego. Your ego, yes, plays with fear, because for your ego, this is real. It's the opposite of your soul. For your ego, this whole life is super serious. That's why we're so scared. That's why we are watching the news. That's why we're terrified all the time. And the more you bond with your soul, which people call feminine energy, or whatever you want to call it, some people I think call it celebrity energy, this is where a certain easiness comes in and an openness for life, because in that moment you don't see life as serious. Anyways, that's another video. But to come back to the Wheel of Fortune, but when we divide life, we always see the top of the wheel as the right phase and the bottom of the wheel as the wrong phase. We only want to be on top. And this is the feeling good state. This is the state where people feel confident and then make a video about what confidence means.
This is how you present yourself, and this is how you talk.
And this is what most people want to experience and where they want to stay. And this is usually the comfort zone, because you feel the most confident in your comfort zone. When things feel stable, when you know your job very well. You know what I mean? Like when things are stable and you figured things out for you and you're like, now I know it. Now I know what confidence means. Because we feel safe and secure. It's the same like driving a car. You drove a car for years and years, and now you know how to drive a car, and that's beautiful. Obviously you can now teach a person how to drive a car, but when the wheel is turning, which I can tell you probably will happen, because again, your soul is not mainly here for peace and safety. And I know a lot of people will hate me for saying this, but that's the beauty of life, actually, that things are like waves, not just stable and stagnant. And then the wheel is turning and people are like, where's my confidence? Why is my confidence gone? Because in that time, I can tell you, you will feel when you're on the top, on the bottom, so to speak, of the wheel, you will not feel confident. You will feel maybe like a loser. You will feel like, whatever then happens, it depends on what happens, When I had my disease, for example, that was when I was like, oh my God, because I have ME/CFS, which is a neurological disease. I was like, what's happening, and you get super vulnerable and you're absolutely not confident at all. And especially when you go through change. That's why the death card in tarot is the death card, because your nervous system feels like death, like dying, sorry, like dying, because you feel like, what's going on? Do you think a butterfly feels, like a caterpillar feels comfortable turning into the butterfly while the cocoon phase and while breaking out of the cocoon? No. It's super uncomfortable, and uncomfortability, or like being uncomfortable, I don't even know if uncomfortability is a word, but being uncomfortable, you will not feel secure in that time. You will feel insecure. And then you blame yourself for it, although you're just going through the biggest changes of your life, which are usually turning out very positive because you become the freaking butterfly, right? But you don't allow it. You know, these people that are saying confidence is this like representation of like, you know, like a strong facade. And what's unfortunately happening when we are building up this almost facade of proudness is what I call it, because that's when we're usually in a prouder phase, which is okay. All phases are okay. We're suppressing a little bit of vulnerability, because you will always feel insecure once in a while, even in your feeling good state sometimes, when you have your period as a woman, for example, or when you have kids for the first time. I mean, I don't even want to know. I was working as an au pair once, and it was like, whew, you know, with kids, you have a lot of learning stuff to do. That's life, and your soul is here for life. And I will tell you, when you allow that shift to happen because you're okay with feeling insecure, the wheel is also turning again. And this is a phase, I just noticed I constantly hold it wrong. It will turn again, and you will be there again. And you will feel even way more confident than before because you went through all of this. And you know how amazing that feels, because you said, I could hold myself in that phase. Of course, you can then be proud of yourself or that you've managed all of that. But in order to feel this, I would say, upgraded confidence, this newer confidence that will shift again and again and again in your life, you also have to be okay with feeling insecure again and again and again in your life. Duality. Your soul loves duality, and we finally have to be okay with that. And you will see, you will feel so free when you're okay with being insecure and seeing it as a strength, to be like, oh my God, I can hold myself in that phase. Because you allow experiences, no matter if positive or negative, to happen in your life. Because you feel like my soul has created all of that. And that's why I personally believe in this newish spirituality thing. You can also say you have a strong bond with God, as long as, and that's the important part, you trust. When you trust and you love your fate, you also start to build this bond with yourself. And therefore, my truth affirmations are so powerful, because one of the truth affirmations, for example, is my soul knows what it creates. My soul knows what it creates. Because when you use these truth affirmations and you listen to them or you read them or whatever, or you write them down every day, whatever you prefer, you will see that that's the moment where you will bond with yourself. And no matter what's happening in the external, even when you feel insecure, especially when you feel insecure, especially when things are happening, you're like, my soul knows what it creates. My soul is amazing. And that's where you build up this feeling of worthiness. Worthiness, I don't even know if that's the right word necessarily, but actually the feeling of trust. And that's why I said, even when you believe in God, it's important to build up that trust, because this is where you feel, no matter what's happening in the external, I don't even need to be confident all the time. I can go through massive changes and build myself up again, and go through that and hold myself in that time. You will not have the constant feeling you have to prove yourself. And you don't have to then put on a facade of confidence or intimidation, what a lot of people think it is. Basically, that was it with today's video. I hope you liked it, and I hope we see you in my next one. Bye bye.